and welcome to yet another episode of From the Helm. We're here live at the Resources Rising Stars Conference Summer Series in Sydney. I'm Grady Wolf, Market Analyst with Direct, and I'm thrilled today to be joined by Todd Ross, Managing Director of DevEX. Tim Goyder-backed company, pure uranium play with assets in the Northern Territory. Todd, exciting new times for you with the company.
It is, yeah. Great to see you, Grady. Thanks very much.
Good to
happy
see
to
you.
be here.
Yeah, so you recently did join DevEX. Yep. What drew you to the role in the company?
Oh, look, many factors, but I think being able to work in, with Tim Goyder and the group, the fact that it's uranium focused, we've got a massive land holding, exploration potential in the Northern Territory in a resurging uranium market. So what better place to be, really?
Yeah, so for our investors who may not be familiar with the DevEX story, it's been around for a little while now, not too long, and can you give us an overview of what the company does, what you're exploring, where you're producing, what you're doing?
Absolutely, yeah. So DevEX is really a uranium focused exploration company. We're looking to develop our uranium assets in the Northern Territory. What we're chasing is high grades, monster uranium deposits. Yep. So the likes of the Jabiluka, the Ranger uranium mine. There's 700 million pounds in the Alligator Rivers uranium province where we're operating. Either known or mines uranium mineralisation. We're after the monsters. We're operating in an area where there was a historical uranium mine, the Narbalek mine back in the 80s and 90s. We're looking for another one of those. There's only really two belts in the world that have these unconformity style high-grade uranium deposits. That's the Athabasca region in Canada and the McArthur Basin in Northern Territory. The McArthur Basin, they're still very underexplored. As I said, 700 million pounds of contained mineralisation.
Wow.
The Athabasca, on the other hand, is dominated by majors. There's been some major discoveries there, but it's very difficult to really get any decent ground there. And we've got a big land holding, and we're looking for the upside of the uranium price.
Yeah, talking about that, the uranium price, it's obviously experiencing a resurgence, as I spoke before about the AI movement driving that need for uranium and nuclear power. How long can the rally last, do you think, though?
Oh, look, we're only just getting started.
Okay.
Honestly, I think when you look at the fundamentals for the uranium market, when we see the resurgence of need for clean energy for a start, there's 415 nuclear reactors operating throughout the world. The G20 are the only, Australia's the only country that doesn't have nuclear power amongst all of that. But at last year's COP28, there were 22 countries that pledged to triple their uranium or their nuclear power going forward. So with that as the base loads to replace the fossil fuels in the world, and then the need for AI and technology-driven energy requirements, it's massive. The outlook's huge. Yeah.
And it's such a clean energy as well. So obviously that plays into a lot of different themes, the AI, the clean energy. It's what we want to see, so it drives a lot of tailwinds for the sector. Talking about that, what does the DevEX timeline to production look like?
Well, right now we've got the two projects. We've got the Narbalek project up in the Northern Territory, and then to the southern end of the McArthur Basin is our Murphy West project. Both of them are exploration stage at the moment. The Murphy West is more greenfields. Narbalek, as a historical mine, we're looking at trying to advance that project there, potentially putting in a resource around that in the next exploration program. But we're also about growth. Me coming on board is looking at advanced assets globally, and that's what we're working on. 8 weeks into the job, we're looking through everything in the world to see where there's an opportunity to really pick up a new project.
Thrown in the deep end, and Tim Goyder likes to do that. Speaking of Tim Goyder, chairman of the company, major shareholder of the company, what does his credibility bring to a company like DevEX?
Oh, look, it's huge. Tim's obviously had an incredible track record. He knows what needs to be done. You've got to make sure your companies are well funded. You've got to make sure you've got the right team. You've got to make sure you're in the right thematic and get the job done, put money in the ground and develop projects.
Off-take agreements on the cards for DevEX in the future? I know a lot of people and a lot of companies are going spot versus off-take agreements. What's the outlook for DevEX?
We're not quite ready for those discussions yet, but we're open to everything once it comes to that point.
Yeah, and what does 2025 look like for DevEX?
Well, 2025 is going to be exciting. We've got the Murphy West exploration activity that's underway. We're on the ground at the moment. We'll look at going back into Narbalek and what we're going to do there, but it's really about the growth story, looking at more advanced projects.
Todd Ross, thank you so much for your time today. DevEX is an exciting uranium play, and if you're looking to get into that space, it's exactly where you want to look. Thank you for joining us on this episode of From the Helm. If you did enjoy this episode, why not subscribe to the Direct YouTube channel to stay up to date with all insights, commentary, and all exclusive interviews like the one we just had with Todd.